Hello, hello. I don't know if this is going live yet or not, but I feel like I should say hello and welcome to Dark Age Growing. This is Is anybody there? Connection. Okay, seems that the connection is working. Hello, people. I know you're out there. If anybody has questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. The weather around here has been a bit strange. I still have peas on the vine. It's July 11th today. And my tomato plants way back there. None of the fruit have started going red or orange yet. So I wasn't set up with any questions really beforehand. I can drop a few gems of knowledge. If anybody's interested in that. Let's see. Sorry. Looking at my phone now to make sure if anybody's out there that they can actually see me. Here. So this is a little bit different. Hey, we got people. Hello. How's it going? How's the weather? It's overcast and almost 80 here. Okay, good. You guys can hear me just fine. Good. So, I didn't have a lot of questions or really any questions ahead of time, so have you ever 96. Whew. That's toasty. Let's see. Anybody looking at Tropical Storm Faye? Is that going to affect one of you guys today? Yeah, the AC is definitely your friend. Let's see. This was a batch of corn that I had actually planted out on top of my monster potatoes, and I forgot exactly where my monster potatoes were planted. So 90% of the corn didn't come up. I've got 3 corn plants that actually came up. It's a little bit annoying that I wasted my seed like that. Okay, so yeah, the cabbage moths. A lot of that is just picking them off the plants, doing under the leaf sprays with your neem oil. Your DE, diatomaceous earth, is a good option for the cabbage worms because they're a soft-bodied insect. Another one that I'm starting to look into is a oh geez, now I can't say it off the top of my head. Picerin, I think. It's made from chrysanthemums. No, so not really. Not really. Yeah, the corn. This was supposed to be a dwarf corn, but no, corn is not liking the potatoes. I have ears of corn on them. I don't know. Yeah, you might be able to see that right here. So we'll see what happens. I did a little bit of hand pollinating, try to get them to do something for me. If nothing else, it should give me a little bit of seed to plant again next year. They were the Yukon Supreme short season sweet corn. It's an heirloom variety. The thing that I used for spraying on them. Let's see if I can find it real fast. It was squash bugs. Let's see here. Pyrethrin. Yeah, pyrethrin. Pyrethrin. I recommended it yesterday to Unicorn Homestead. Let's see, weeds and crabgrass in the garden. I don't do a lot of weeding. If it gets really bad, I do some weeding, mostly if it's tall. In paths, I use a flame weeder or vinegar spray. Works pretty good. That's dog. Is the dog loud or annoying in the video? Just let me know. I can have him go inside. Otherwise, for weeding, it's a lot of hand weeding and keeping the ground covered with as much plant material as possible. Let's see. Sorry, just adjusting something. It wasn't working anyways. Alright. Sorry about that. Let's see. Any new chats? Yeah, no, my security guard dog definitely wants to get to me in the garden, and I don't let him. Because he will take after the cat that does the pest control in the garden. My cats are actually pretty good about not bugging things too much. I've had them lay on plants when they were younger. That was a little bit annoying, but they don't trample things the same way that my 75-pound Black Lab German Shepherd mix does. Hey, I'm glad Unicorn Hollow Homestead. I'm thinking that that's probably your best bet for taking care of the squash bugs. I've done a little bit more research, and I'm not finding a whole lot else that doesn't go to a really harsh chemical beyond that one. So let me know at some point how it worked for you. If it works out for you, I hope it really does. Lettuce going to seed and getting ready to bolt. So let it flower, and as the flowers shift over to the pollen or the white fluff showing up, kind of like a dandelion type fluff. If you have a net bagging, or I'd say tie a pantyhose over the flower stalks even, to make sure that they don't all fly away, and you'll be able to collect them as they're fully dried. How can you tell when to harvest corn? So you're going for a sweet corn, I'm guessing right now. When the silks are pretty much turning brown, when the silk all the way to the tip turns brown, you're probably ready to harvest. And then there's a texture of the corn kernel. You would use your thumbnail or fingernail to burst a kernel, and if it's still in the milky stage and it just squirts out all over the place, you're at sweet. If it kind of goes to a gummy stage, you've probably let your sweet corn go too far. Oh, you keep picking it too early. Yeah, yeah, you keep picking it too early. So definitely, it's once the silks have gone brown. Mine. Let's see if I can get it over here real quick. This is still too early. Alright, you can't quite see it there. Maybe you can see it now. I can't see what you're seeing. But this is still too early. The silks going down towards the plant are still very green. Trying to get it to show up on the camera without seeing exactly where I'm pointed. This is fun. There we go. Yeah, that was still too early. Yeah, the heat around here has not been heat. We've barely had any days over 80 degrees. Like I said early in the stream, I still have peas on green vines. I'm letting these ones go to seed to collect. Some of them are doing some funny things, like splitting out the backs of the pea pods all on their own. But, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm not complaining that I haven't had the heat, the crazy heat. We're gonna be in the 80s next week. We're usually in the 90s right around now. Going into August, we hit our hundreds, but it has been a weird year. Imagine that. I don't know how many of you believe in the grand solar minimum. I've been following it and looking into it for several years now. And I think it's really starting to take effect. Yeah, the peas. Oh, okay. Melody, thank you. I guess Melody says that the peas might have been too much water too fast while they're ripening, and that could very well be. We'd gone through several weeks where we were on again, off again, rain. It would be like 3 days dry, and then a wet day, and then 3 days dry, and so for the most part, I wasn't watering. And then this week, I had to water, and because we had a 3 or 4 day stretch with no rain, and now we're looking like we're going to be dry again for several more weeks. Well, at least another week and a half. Yeah, so the grand solar minimum, for those that are following or not following, just a quick description of what I feel is going to happen. Here in the Northwest, we're not going to see a big swing. We're worried about the volcanoes going off. We're worried about the earthquakes going off. But I think our weather is actually going to hold pretty steady. We'll be a little wetter than we usually are, but I don't see it getting crazy cold here, even though I'm sitting on 42 or 45 parallel. I think I'm right around the 40th parallel. Yeah, Unicorn Hollow, thank you. I'm glad you found me through Ice Age Farmer. Christian is great. I've been following him since he had less than 1,000 subs. He's a great guy. Going back to when he was testing out growing spirulina, the algae. It was interesting to see him do it and growing the crickets in his closet. That was a fun experiment that he did for a while. I did mealworms up till last year. I was growing mealworms in trays and feeding them to. At the time I had some lizards, but then I was feeding them to my chickens, and that was a fun experiment to just run them on potato peels, apple slices, and carrot pieces, and oats. I had lots of oats. My kids are getting wick, and we're able to get oats. And some of the oats went to the mealworms, and they were super easy to take care of and grow to a pretty good sized population. So as a protein source for your animals, mealworms or crickets. Crickets are easy enough to grow. Basically the same thing. A grain and damp sponge, some dirt, and a warm area, and you can grow your crickets in a bin or your mealworms in a bin. The thing about mealworms, they go through the metamorphosis. They turn into little beetles. You have to keep them in enclosed areas so they don't fly out, and they're quiet. So that's a nice benefit. The crickets are not so quiet. So I had 2 green anoles and 2 long-tailed tree lizards. They did all right, but I bought them from a PetSmart, and unfortunately they came with scale mites, and so one of the long-tailed lizards died, and I treated my green anole for the scale mites, and I got another long-tail, and it apparently had the scale mites, and I treated them and the tank. It was just a pain, a lot more work than we were hoping for. We were hoping for an easy set of pets, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted, and we moved over from having the lizards to getting more chickens, and even then we had a frog, and the frog did well, and the frog wasn't affected by the scale mites, but whenever we got new ones, it just seemed like they brought in more problems, more disease, and we couldn't put all our time and effort into them as our little kids were growing up. I've got a 5-year-old that's turning 6 in July, and a 3-year-old. So they were growing up, and we just couldn't give the lizards as much attention as we probably should have. Hey Deb, how's it going? It's all right. It's all right. I got your order sent out yesterday, or wait, no, sorry, it'll go out Monday. Deb, I meant to get it out yesterday, and I got through a handful of other orders, but didn't quite get to yours. But it will be out on Monday. I got the July monthly subscription packs out. That was my community tab from last night. I don't know if you guys all saw that or not. Had a picture of what went out in the package. It was pretty cool, and I think that as the months go on, it'll still be a good value. For zones 6 and higher, pretty much we can still plant beans and short season squash, beets, greens, getting into the lettuce and the spinach next month and into September. In the $15 packs, I'm gonna include some garlic cloves for people in October, and I think that'll be good. Alright, bye Unicorn Hollow. Yeah, definitely. Pole beans here in Washington. I just planted a batch, and I know that some people will plant pole beans all the way into September, so they should do good. Okay. So anyways, the monthly packs. I only had a couple of subscriptions so far, but I think that's the way it's gonna go, and that I'll get a couple more soon, I hope. Also, coming to the website soon are gonna be a $20 homestead in a bag. It'll be heavy duty plastic and mylar sealed packages that can be stored in the back of the fridge for long-term storage, and I will set those up so they can be bought, shipping included. I think it's gonna be like 20 seed packs, a couple thousand seeds in there. Oh no, Eddie, you have deer issues? I thought you had managed to get the deer out of your garden. Oh man. Yeah, the if you're planting your pole beans on your fences, definitely you're gonna, even if you have them have tall enough fences to block the deer from getting into your garden, you'll be feeding your deer. Cattle panel arch trellises is a great way to do the pole beans. I'm doing them on some bamboo teepees, and I have another cattle panel or something similar to a cattle panel that's sideways in the garden. It's a little shorter, but hopefully it works. If it looks like they're gonna go a lot taller, I'll build out a string line trellis above the cattle panel. Oh man. So, did I get to everybody's questions? You have to eat around the deer, Eddie. That's actually kind of funny. I grow most of when I'm here at home. I grow my peas on my chain link fence that is backed by a large quantity of sunchokes as a buffer zone. Yeah, the sunchokes work as a good buffer to keep things from grazing on my peas. Best sellers. So early in the season, it was definitely peas, Oregon Giant Snow Pea, and then Sugar Snap and Sugar Ann. Sugar Ann is probably the shortest season sugar pea that I have. And then going into the beans, the rattlesnake bean is a big seller, and sold out of some of the types of marigolds that I had on the shop. Sold out of all the hot peppers that I had early in the season. Um, Corn. Uh, the corn I had on on the shop, the majority of the corn was hybrid, but the peaches and cream hybrid was probably the best seller. And then with the heirloom corn that I had on the shop, it was the uh, golden bantam. And then I have it ready to go onto the store. I need to put up my kale and a few other things like that. I've just been super busy packaging, making labels, and filling orders that I haven't even been able to get everything onto the store. I probably have another dozen seed varieties that I don't even have it on the store yet. Uh, you know something? I actually get deer in town here in Vancouver. Probably just a mile north of me is Burnt Bridge Creek watershed, and the deer use that greenway all the time to travel north and south. And there's access roads that lead directly to it, and bike paths that lead directly to it. So I've seen deer on a road less than a mile from my house. Mile and a half up the road is where my grandpa lives, and he has coyotes running right through his yard. And I've seen coyotes in downtown Vancouver. So you get the wildlife encroaching in the city, or the humans encroaching into the wildlife areas, almost no matter where you are. Even going across the river to the south of me into Portland, Oregon, 205 bridge takes me right into North Portland, and I've seen coyotes on 205 right along the side of the highway. Hey there, Alex. Good to have you. I do have blue hopi corn, and I'm growing it. I planted my first batch way too early in the season, and so it was super spotty on what came up and what didn't. I came back in with a second batch of it that I started at my grandpa's probably 3 weeks ago, 3 maybe 4 weeks ago, and then I also went in with a pretty good sized batch of the contender bean. Contender bush bean, great seller. I still bought too much of the seed, but it's a really great seller. I'm going to be putting it up on bulk packages and long-term packaging on the website real soon. Great bean. Supposedly it tastes better than the Kentucky Wonder pole bean. And I don't know if you guys follow Deep South Homestead. They used to grow contender all the time, but the weather down there has shifted. And at least in the ground, they're not able to grow the contender anymore. It's kind of interesting. And so they've been growing the rattlesnake pole bean. So the sunchokes, Melody asks, the sunchokes, do they, excuse me, are they all the same variety? Yes, they're all the same variety right now. I haven't had a chance to start a patch of another variety. And do they like the dry or do they like moist soils? They will grow well in a wide range of soils. Right now, I let them go dry for days at a time, and then I will water them again. Water them deep in between periods of dry. But I've also done some tests where I just had them sitting in a bucket of water. Give me just 1 second, and let me go grab one that I've had sitting in a batch of water for 2 months to run a test on how they would do in waterlogged soil. Give me just a second. So this was a test just to see how long they could live in waterlogged soils. So far they're alive, basically sitting in water with just a tiny bit of dirt after a full 2 months. They are not developing tubers when they're just sitting in the water, but I would say that they can deal with very wet conditions for long periods of time. As to their preference, really they'll take almost any soil you give them. And I've seen some that try to grow in concrete. Some of my videos I've mentioned that people will run their animals on them repeatedly through the season as a fodder crop, and they just keep growing back. And so long as they're given a quarter to half a season towards the end of the growing year to put some energy back into the roots, you can keep getting the greens repeatedly. They are extremely resilient, and will deal with almost any abuse that you give them. Yeah, sandy soil, clay soil, they They will punch the roots down as far as 1.5 feet if given the chance, and they will keep spreading. So in areas that you don't want them to grow, and I'm having trouble keeping them from growing in areas that I don't want them to grow, you really have to put a 18-inch deep barrier or grow them in a container. Right now, at the end of the year, I'm going to have to dig out a trench on the outside of the fence and the inside of the fence where I've got my peas here, because they're growing into my peas again. I cleared a whole path out on what I was selling this year, and I missed enough of them that you can barely tell that I took any of them out at all. So this whole area right here was the area that I pulled from, and they apparently still had enough. They apparently still had enough in the ground to keep going. Oh, I don't know if I don't think I've shown this guy to you yet. So this is a standard jack-o'-lantern pumpkin that I have growing up my fence. I don't quite know how I'm going to handle him if he decides to put on fruits. Start making those lovely pumpkins up here. Oh, question for you guys. Your squash this year, are you getting more male flowers than usual? Because I am. My pumpkin plant over here is, keeps putting out the male flowers, and I think I see a couple females on there. I'm having issues with my zucchini. It's putting on the female flowers, but they're getting the blossom end rot. I'm going to be putting out a video soon, hopefully fixing it. I have a calcium spray to put on the leaves that should help get rid of the blossom end rot. I don't know. Deer crossing signs. Yeah, if only the deer actually paid attention to the signs. I have seen some deer use the signs and pay attention to the signs, but in general they don't. Yeah, using the pantyhose as a hammock to deal with the larger pumpkins. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I might have to build out slings from paracord if the pumpkins get too big, though. Like I said, I think that this was a Hoden variety pumpkin, and they are known for full-size 15 to 20 pound pumpkins, so we'll see where that gets me. I've got a handful of vines on the ground too, that if the ones that are on the fence don't do well, I can do that. Alright, so we've been on here for about 45 minutes. If there's any more pressing questions, I'd love to have them and answer them now. If not, feel free to leave questions in the comment section down below. And I pay attention to those types of things and try to get back to everyone there. Also, in case you didn't see, I have a promotion on my website where you just need to send me a picture of some seedlings that you grew this year. Let me know what variety they are, and I can send off a 20% off coupon for that'll take 20% off your whole order at my website. Yeah. Mesh bags for my new fruits. Oh yeah, t-shirts. That makes sense. Eddie says to use t-shirts material or t-shirt to make the slings for the pumpkin on the fence line. That could work. That could definitely work. I hadn't thought about using any t-shirts. You remember my videos on Dark Age Ramblings? Yeah, I still have the channel's still there. It's a lot. Oh geez, yeah, I really wasn't doing my calling there. I think this helping people with the gardening has definitely been where my heart's at, and I know that I can really do well. Still preparing people for the future, preparing people for the difficult times, but it's me. It's not. Yeah, it's been a really good change. It's been a long road, but I think I found my calling. Yes, so Deb at Enraged Refuge asked, is it okay to trim leaves to create more light for watermelons and squashes? Definitely. That will help a lot. Trim towards the base of the plants, the bigger leaves. Get them off before the mildew starts, if possible. They'll be fine and probably be happier for it. Good night, the Skew-Sam. Skew-Same. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Squash blossoms. I know they're edible. I haven't actually tried it yet. Do you usually cook them first, or do you just eat them raw? I've eaten daylilies, the orange daylilies raw. They were actually, they're decent, kind of bland, but definitely not peppery. So I think I'm just about out of time for today. My wife was just checking in with me a few minutes ago, and she's wanting me to come in and probably start working on dinner. Yes, Saturday is a regular schedule. Is 3:30 or 4:30 a better time slot? So that Pacific time. Eastern would be 6:30 or 7. Let me know which one works better for you guys, because yeah, somewhere in that time slot is probably the best for me still on a weekly basis. Okay, battered and fried. I would have to make a special batter. I don't know that I've actually shared it on a video yet. I'm gluten intolerant, and yeah, I went to school to be a chef. I went to the Cordon Bleu, graduated, got my associate's degree, and while I was there, I developed about 7 food allergies, and I had to stop eating gluten. I'm not sure that I've got celiac disease, but I probably do. It's super bad. I'm practically stoned. I can't drive. I get brain fog. I get all of the bowel indigestion nastiness from gluten. So wheat, barley, rye are completely off my diet. Okay, so 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern. That's fine for me. 45 minutes to an hour long, and yeah, I'm here for you guys. I'm here for you in the chat. I'm here for you in the comment sections. I don't know. I'm actually out of work right now. I'm not completely out of work. I'm doing my thing. I'm selling seeds. It's not quite enough to pay all my bills. I've been working or I've been living off my savings. But I'm starting to pick up some gig work and gonna be getting back into doing part-time work. But I'm out of my full-time job. It was making me a zombie, and I was doing the way too much caffeine energy drinks to get me through the swing shifts and 10-hour shifts. So it just wasn't a good thing, and I wasn't seeing my family. So I'm a lot happier now that I'm home and doing my own thing. Hopefully next year, everything will be good, and I will be able to make the seed business and info products into a full-time thing. I'm working on putting together a gardening in the Grand Solar Minimum book. Would love to know some ideas for a title. Leave those in the comments if you think some. And I'll be working on an actual course on seed saving that I hope to have out this fall. Oh, I'm being visited by Jasper. Jasper, my outdoor kitty, decided to come say hi and bye. This is Jasper. He is my only outdoor cat. I've had many over the years doing the outdoor patrol and keeping the neighborhood kitty cats out of the way. Yep, picking up the odd jobs. I wish I had 5 acres. That would be awesome, Deb. I've got, oh geez, a 1/10 of an acre available to me at my grandpa's. I'm not growing on nearly that much right now. I've probably got a 30 by 40 garden and a 8 by 12 greenhouse up there that I'll be working with this fall. And then my small backyard garden, which I've grown a lot here. Oops. Just that little space right here, 10 feet by 14 or 16. So, title of the book, Why is My Garden Going Crazy? Yeah, yeah. Um, I had I had a long string of communication on a Ice Age farmer chat one time, or in their in a comment section. That one of the fun ones was grow your own food so you don't eat your neighbors. Um, that was probably one of the highlights there. But on a more serious note, Dark Age growing, uh, growing, uh, growing more food during challenging times. I mean, my go-to handle is a good enough title, or definitive guide for gardening during the grand solar minimum. I mean, I think that something that catches attention is fun. Um, Something that's controversial can be fun. I'll be putting this out. I'll make this into a question on another video that'll reach more people, so that they will have the chance to have input on it. I'll start bringing out more information of sections of the book as I get into it, and maybe even do some chapter readings, things like that as they're completed. But we're almost to the top of the hour, coming up on 5 o'clock. I really do have to go. It's been great hanging out with you guys, and yeah, definitely. I'll catch you all later. Have a great night, and grow more food. Even though the times are challenging, this is definitely the time to learn while we're still able to get food from the grocery store. Start now. Don't wait. I know I'm talking to the choir with the guys and gals here in the chat, but garden. And if you can, start growing your rabbits and your chickens. My goodness, my dog is going crazy because Jasper's over there taunting him. I'll catch you all later. Have a great one. It was great hanging out with you guys tonight. Good night. Deb, I will be putting out a video, specifically Grand Solar Minimum, I think this week. Tuesday, I'm going to cover some bad soil that I recently got, and how there's an issue with the soil that's being sold. I think that the animals are eating different plants or different things than they normally would, and it's contaminating the soil that people are buying in the stores. I even have an article to go along with that one. And then Thursday, I will put out a video, I think directly on the Grand Solar Minimum, and I might have a bonus one come out if I can finish it up this week, that is dehydrating and powdering down some kale as a long-term vitamin storage option. Yep. So, good night, everybody. I will be checking the comments and putting more information out regularly. Community posts every couple days, videos Tuesdays, Thursdays, and a live stream on Saturdays. Have a great one. Catch you all later.